Week 9 brings the Denver Broncos to Bank of America Stadium. And this one is a little personal for me. I lived in Denver for 4 years and spent another year in Colorado Springs. 5 years of my life in Colorado, and I genuinely love that place. The mountains, the scenery, the dry air, the random drives that turn into an adventure. And that feeling that something beautiful is always sitting just outside the city. Colorado is still one of my favorite places I have ever lived. And I honestly think I may move back one day. Just remember it like yesterday, me and Trell driving, staying at random people's houses until we finally got an apartment on our own. We're not from there. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We just packed our bags and went. Colorado will always mean something to me. But this week, they're coming into our house, and we're gonna rip their heads off! What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Panther Tales. This is your host, Sam, with another episode of Meet the Opponents. Last week, we talked about the Green Bay Packers. This time, Carolina gets a long break after Thursday Night Football and comes home for a Week 9 matchup with the Denver Broncos. And Denver's not wandering through quarterback purgatory anymore. The Broncos went 14-3, earned the AFC's number 1 seed, reached the conference championship game. They also employ Sean Payton, which means this episode's going to become hostile very quickly. Let's meet the Denver Broncos. So let's talk about the series record and history. Obviously, we have a little bit of history with the Broncos, aka 2K15. Denver leads the regular season series 6-2. Carolina is 2-2 against the Broncos at home and 0-4 against them in Denver. Yikes, so thank God it's a home game, right? And Denver leads the complete history 7-2, aka 7-2, because we lost to them in the Super Bowl, the only time we ever played them in the playoffs. Fuck the Broncos. Fuck the Broncos. Fuck the Broncos. Fuck the...
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and welcome to Super Bowl 50. Congratulations to you, Carolina. Congratulations to you, Denver.
Turn that shit off. We don't need to spend 10 minutes reliving Von Miller, the strip sacks, but we should take a second to relive the fucking catch that was made.
And it's Cam's pass. Official on the near sideline came in, and he was the one who signaled incomplete.
Country looking to the sideline, telling the coaches, I got it.
Ruling on the field, incomplete pass. Let's bring in Mike Carey, who was the referee at Super Bowl 42. What do you see here, Mike?
I think this is a good challenge by Carolina. The receiver goes up. He's going to the ground, so he must maintain control of the ball, which he does. If I was in the booth, I would reverse this to a catch. The ball never hits the ground. Even though there's a bobble inside, maintain good control, up off the ground. He rolls over, keeps it off the ground at the end.
Trying to look for what they saw here.
His hand was definitely under the football. Only thing that you could see is the ball touched right there as he was rolling over.
Had a hand under it there. Now he rolls over. Does it touch? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Blind ass, dumb ass, fuck ass refs. Carolina entered that game 17-1 with Cam Newton as the league MVP.
That's you.
Cam ain't that good, man. Nah, I'm messing with y'all.
Don't say that.
I'm messing with y'all.
Yo, come on, man. Cam. I like that. I like that all day.
And one of the most joyful teams this franchise has ever produced. Denver's defense turned the ending into trauma, and that game will always connect these franchises no matter how rarely they play. I'm just going to put it like this. The NFL needed that game to be Peyton Manning's ride off into the sunset moment, and that's exactly what happened. Such a BS game. The happier history is here in Charlotte. Carolina beat Denver 30-10 in 2008 behind a huge D'Angelo Williams game. And the Panthers won the most recent meeting at Bank of America Stadium 23-10 in 2022. So the overall record is ugly, but Denver has not owned Carolina and Charlotte. The home series is even, and the Panthers get a chance to break the tie in Week 9. So players who have played for both teams, there have been 59 players who appeared in a regular season game for both franchises. I'm not going to give you all 59 players, but I'll highlight a couple of important ones. First, it's Steve Berline. Steve Berline became a Pro Bowler and set major single-season passing records in Carolina before finishing his career in Denver. Teddy Bridgewater started one season for the Panthers, and Carolina traded him to Denver, where he started 14 games in 2021. C.J. Anderson, the running back the Broncos had in the Super Bowl, played for both teams as well. He played for Carolina after the Super Bowl, and he was very disappointing here. But honestly, the best player who's played for both franchises is punter Todd Sauerbrunn. He was a fucking beast punter. Pretty sure he took steroids. That's the only reason why we traded him. And then he was a beast for Denver ever since then, too. Also, John Fox coached both teams. I want to touch up on him as well. I love John Fox as a coach. Yeah, he had his saying, it is what it is. But as a head coach, he was awesome. I loved whenever something happened and you saw him clapping on the sidelines. He also coached for Denver, too. I don't know if they liked him as much, but I loved Foxy. Now, let's talk a little bit about the coaching staff. Fuck Sean Payton. Now that we've established the tone, let me be fair for a second. Sean Payton is unfortunately a great football coach. His offenses give quarterbacks answers. He understands situational football, and he took over a drifting organization and helped turn it into a 14-win team very quickly as well. I respect the football brain. I cannot stand the person attached to it. He spent 15 seasons coaching the New Orleans Saints, which means Panther fans had to watch his smug, puckered, asshole-looking mouth twice a year while he complained to the officials like the sport had personally betrayed him. Then, of course, there's Bountygate. The NFL suspended Payton for the entire 2012 season after finding the New Orleans Saints operated a system that rewarded defenders for injuring opponents, and Cam Newton was among the quarterbacks reportedly discussed as a target. So no, this is not generic division rival hate. Panther fans have a history with him. He is brilliant, he's irritating, and I would enjoy nothing more than watching him make that sour face after losing in Charlotte. And even more recently, he's had beef with J.C. Horn. He got in his face or some shit like that at the end of the game the last time we played them. And then in his post-conference, he's like, yeah, he was pretty upset, I guess. But we're going to play a lot better teams than this team. So just like this bullshit, man. He is such a bullshit-ass motherfucker. I fucking hate him. But whatever. Their offensive coordinator is Davis Webb. Davis Webb was promoted to offensive coordinator for 2026. He was still an NFL quarterback in 2022, joined Denver as a quarterback coach in 2023, added passing game coordinator duties in 2025, and now enters only his fourth season as a coach with an offensive coordinator title. Pretty good for him. That rise tells you how strongly Denver believes in his work with Bo Nix. Payton still shapes the offense, but Webb is expected to have a larger play calling role while Zach Strief coordinates the run game and John Morton coordinates the passing game. The defensive coordinator is Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph is the reason this cannot become a normal Bryce Young versus Bo Nix conversation. Denver's defense led the league with 68 regular season sacks in 2025. Joseph can create pressure without blitzing, then use the threat of that front to disguise where extra pressure is coming from. The quarterback sees 6 potential rushers, only 4 come, and suddenly a throwing lane disappears because a defender dropped into it. The Panthers do not beat that by being tougher, they beat it by communicating better. Also a fun fact, Denver's the first team Bryce Young played after his initial benching his sophomore season. Personally, I was nervous for it because it's like, wow, we're going to bring him back against the best fucking defense in the NFL. He's going to look like shit and then you guys are going to bench him for life. But surprisingly, he played well enough to earn himself another start, and the rest is history. Let's talk about the 2025 Denver Broncos. Denver finished with a 14-3 record, scoring 23.6 points per game and allowed only 18.3. The offense ranked around the middle of the league in scoring, the defense ranked third. The distinction matters. Denver was not a weekly offensive fireworks show. Its identity was protection, field position, pass rush, and making opponents play uncomfortable football. The Broncos allowed only 23 sacks, while their defense produced 68. They protected Bo Nix, then spent the rest of the afternoon destroying the other quarterback. Nix took a real step in year 2. He threw for 3,931 yards with 25 passing touchdowns and only 11 interceptions in the regular season, and his mobility helped Denver survive when plays broke down. But the defense, as always, was the engine. Nick Bonito supplied speed off the edge, Zach Allen created interior pressure, Pat Surtain erased receivers, Talanoa Hufanga added violence and range, Garrett Bowles and Quinn Miners became first-team All-Pro blockers on the other side of the ball. Denver earned the AFC's #1 seed, received the bye, then beat Buffalo 33-30 in overtime in the divisional round. The win came with a brutal cost. Nix fractured his ankle late in the game and missed the AFC Championship game. Jarrett Stidham started against New England, and if you didn't know, Jarrett Stidham was supposed to be the franchise quarterback after Tom Brady left. So Jarrett Stidham started that game against New England, his former team. Denver lost 10-7, and a season that felt capable of reaching the Super Bowl ended without its starting quarterback. The fair takeaway is not that Nix carried Denver, and it's not that Denver carried Nix. He operated a strong structure well, made clutch plays, and helped the complete roster win 14 games. The 2026 question is whether he could become the reason Denver wins, not merely a major part of the formula. Because there was plenty of games last year where Denver barely beat teams. Yes, they had a 14-3 record, but it wasn't by blowing teams out. They should honestly probably have 3 or 4 extra losses, but hey, you can't take that away from that team. They ended up winning when it mattered the most, but they weren't looking like the team you were scared to play. Defensive-wise, yeah, but teams stuck with Denver until the very end a majority of the times last season. And when it comes to Bo Nix, I still need to see a little bit more of him. I'm not personally sold on him yet. He seems like an okay quarterback, but he makes questionable plays sometimes, so we just got to see what he does in year 3. So let's talk about the Broncos' additions and departures. Denver's defining move was trading for Jalen Waddle. The Broncos received Waddle in pick 111, while Miami received picks 30, 94, and 130. That's an expensive price, but it attacks the clearest limitation in the offense. Courtland Sutton gives Denver size and contested catchability. Waddle gives it speed that changes coverage before the snap. A safety can't casually lean towards Sutton anymore. If the defense plays soft to prevent Waddle from getting behind it, Payton can live underneath. If the defense crowds the box, Waddle can turn one clean release into an explosive play. He doesn't simply add another receiver, he makes the geometry worse for everybody defending Denver. And then Denver retained some pieces. They re-signed running back J.K. Dobbins, inside linebacker Justin Strnad, and Alex Singleton, tight end Adam Troutman, and several depth players. Those are not exciting new names, but they preserve the structure of a 14-win roster. Dobbins gives the backfield a proven runner. Strnad steps into a larger defensive role. Singleton brings back tackling volume and experience. Denver did not spend the spring repairing a broken roster. It spent the spring keeping the machine intact. Now, important losses are departures. The most meaningful loss is defensive lineman John Franklin Myers, who left for Tennessee. He gave Denver sturdy run defense and inside-out pass rush flexibility. Denver also released linebacker Dre Greenlaw after an injury-affected year, and safety P.J. Locke left for Dallas. Those losses create questions in the middle of the defense and in the third safety role, even if the stars remain. So Denver clearly got better, especially if their defensive stars remain intact. Adding Jalen Waddle to open up the field on offense, it's going to be a scary game to play. And then let's talk about the 2026 draft class for the Denver Broncos. Denver traded out of the first round in the Waddle deal, so the first rookie did not arrive until pick 66. In round 3, pick 66, the Denver Broncos selected defensive tackle Tyler Onyedim from Texas A&M. Onyedim is an explosive and I know I'm butchering his name, is an explosive interior athlete with the versatility to play as a 3 technique or an odd front end. He posted 48 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks in his final college season. The opportunity is immediate because Franklin Myers is gone. Round 4, pick 108, they selected running back Jonah Coleman from Washington. Coleman is a compact physical runner who understands blocking schemes, can protect the quarterback, and can contribute in the passing game. Denver does not need him to become the starter immediately, which may let Payton use him in a very specific role early. Because as you know, they have J.K. Dobbins as their starter, even though he can't be relied on because of his health issues. But they also drafted a running back last year, R.J. Harvey, who played pretty well. Also in round 4, pick 111, they selected offensive lineman Cage Casey from Boise State. Casey projects as a swing tackle with possible guard flexibility. The important part is that Denver can develop him behind an established line rather than throwing him into the fire and being like, go get it done, buddy. In round 5, pick 152, they selected tight end Justin Joly from NC State. Joly is the local interest name for Panther fans. He's a movable receiving tight end with the athletic ability to challenge man coverage. He still has work to do as a blocker, but Sean Payton knows how to create touches for an athletic tight end, aka his time with Jimmy Graham in New Orleans. Round 7, pick 246, they selected safety Miles Scott out of Illinois. Scott is a former receiver with ball skills, route awareness, and leadership experience. His first path is likely special teams and sub-package defense. Round 7, pick 256, they selected tight end Dallin Bentley out of Utah. Bentley broke out with 48 catches in his final college season. He gives Denver another developmental option in a crowded but unsettled tight end room. And then one pick after, in round 7, pick 257, they selected linebacker Red Murdoch out of Buffalo. Hell of a name. Oh, and he was Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant forced 17 fumbles in college. 17. He may begin on special teams, but that's a skill every ball carrier needs to know about. Now, I don't know if any of these rookies will play, maybe the first one they selected, but you got to remember, the first selection came in the 3rd round. 3rd round, you're still kind of looking for starters, but more so players who could develop into a starter role later down the line. Now, Bronco players Panther fans need to know about. First, quarterback Bo Nix. Bo Nix wants rhythm, he gets the ball out, he moves well, and understands where Payton built the answer. Carolina's job is to make the first answer disappear. Wide receiver Courtland Sutton is the size problem. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle is the speed problem. Defending both forces the safeties to choose what kind of stress they want. That's going to be a really good wide receiver group. Courtland Sutton is so good already on his own. And then you bring in Jalen Waddle, who scored against us last year when he played for Miami. And then you can't forget about Mims. I don't know if he's going to be the 3rd receiver or not, but Mims is fast as well. We also need to know about outside linebacker Nick Benito. He's a nightmare. His first step can wreck 3rd down before the route develops. Defensive lineman Zach Allen creates the same fear from the interior, where Bryce cannot simply step around it. Cornerback Pat Surtain II changes the call sheet. Denver can assign him to a receiver and use the rest of the coverage elsewhere. Pat Surtain and J.C. Horn were actually in the same draft class, where we selected J.C. Horn at 8 and Surtain went at 9. And for the first couple years, a lot of Panther fans were upset because J.C. Horn was showing his injury history while Surtain was looking like a pro. A lot of people still think Surtain is a lot better than J.C., but in my eyes, I think they're either even or J.C.'s just a little better. So, sorry, I'm allowed to be biased. Just look at some of the interceptions JC's had, okay? Just look at his highlight reel.
And a J.C. Horn with the interception.
Floats it down the seam toward the end zone. Intercepted takeaway.
And reaching up, it's intercepted by Horn.
And he's picked by Horn. J.C. Horn. Well, J.C. Horn has nobody to his side, and so he's able to fall off and just read the eyes. It's a great job by J.C. Horn.
Right guard Quinn Miners is the offensive player casual fans may overlook, but he can physically take over the middle of a game. Now I want to give more names that you might not know about. Cornerback Jaquan McMillan is a disruptive slot defender. He will blitz, tackle, and attack short routes. He's not the corner fans mentioned because Surtain exists, but he can become the player who kills a screen or creates 3rd and long. Outside linebacker Jonah Ellis gives Denver another fresh edge rusher behind Benito and Jonathan Cooper. Surviving the first wave does not mean the tackles get a break. Defensive lineman Ioma Uwazurike brings the length and size inside. With Franklin Myers gone, he has a chance to become a larger part of the rotation. Safety Devon Key is primarily known for special teams, but the PJ Locke departure creates an opportunity for defensive snaps. Those are the players who appear in one package, make one play, and leave everybody asking who number 26 was. With Sutton and Waddle drawing attention, Franklin can become the forgotten vertical option. And if not Franklin, then Mims again. Another player we should know about that I mentioned earlier is RJ Harvey. He gives Denver burst behind Dobbins. Also, tight end Nate Adkins is more blocker than headline, but Payton uses players like him to disguise whether a formation is heavy or spread. At the end of the day, though, I still think Mims is going to be the most underrated player on that roster. He already has big playability and has made plenty of big plays. So now with having Waddle and you already had Sutton and Franklin's becoming a good receiver in his own right, you just got to circle him. This could be a long day. Or not just the Panthers, but teams playing Denver all year long. But now, like every week, let's turn it to the big board. Okay, now first things first, I just want to mention a couple of things because training camp has started, so I have to make you aware because the big board has now changed because of injuries. Right before camp was supposed to start, Taylor Moton was diagnosed with a blood clot in his lung. So he's out indefinitely right now, which brings in rookie tackle Monroe Freeling to actually play, which is actually really, really exciting, even though he's a left tackle, because I didn't know how he was going to get reps in his first year, and I never want to see anybody get injured, but having him start, especially his first year, is really, really crucial. And then also, as you could see on the outside linebacker, there's no more Nick Scorin. It's either going to be Princely Umami-Yellen or Patrick Jones. And whoever it is, be ready to step up and get some sacks. He unfortunately tore his ACL and is out for the year, which really sucks because it seemed like he was primed to have a huge year with all the training videos you've seen and with training with Micah Parsons. Instead of repeating offense versus defense at every position, this week's board is about where Denver tries to create stress and how Carolina can redirect it. The first stress point, Denver wants 3rd down to feel like panic. Bonito, Allen, Cooper, and Joseph's pressure designs become most dangerous when the run disappears and the protection has to declare itself. Carolina's answer begins before 3rd down. First down completions, efficient runs, quick screens, and movement passes are not boring if they prevent 3rd and 11. The goal is not simply to protect Bryce on 3rd down. The goal is to stop Denver from earning its favorite version of 3rd down. Stress point 2, Surtain wants the formation to stay still. If Carolina lines up its number 1 receiver outside, lets Surtain find him and repeats that picture all afternoon, Denver wins before the snap. The Panthers should move Teteroa McMillan, use stacks, condense formations, and force Denver to decide whether Surtain follows into traffic. Make the elite corner communicate. Make him play through releases instead of giving him a clean island. Stress point 3. Waddle wants the safety to blink. Sutton threatens the boundary and red zone. Waddle threatens the entire blade of grass behind the defense. The safety who cheats one step creates the throw Denver wants. Carolina needs disciplined leverage and help that changes after the snap. Show Nick's one picture, rotate late, and force him to confirm rather than simply catch and throw. Stress point 4, Miners wants to turn the game physical. Denver's line does not only protect, it wants to embarrass people in the run game. Miners in space can turn a normal run into a tone-setting play. Carolina's interior defenders must attack angles and make the runner change direction before Miners gets a clean target. Don't let Denver's strongest blocker spend 4 quarters running downhill at linebackers. And the last stress point, Nix wants the first read to be right. Nix is at his best when the structure tells him where to go and he can deliver on time. Carolina does not need reckless blitzing, it needs post-snap doubt. Cloud Sutton unexpectedly, carry Waddle with a different defender, drop an edge player beneath a quick route, Every extra half a second gives Derek Brown and the pass rush another chance. If any stress point is going to win the game, it's going to be this last one. I don't know how well our offense is going to play. Probably will struggle against this defense. But if anything else, if our defense makes Bo Nix struggle, we have a real chance. And it definitely helps that it's a home game. So yeah, Nick scoring with the torn ACL. Get well soon, brother. And then Taylor Moton, blood clot. I hope this isn't career defining. Because when you think blood clot, guys, I think Chris Bosh, that ended his career. Now, 4 key ways Carolina can make Denver play a game it does not want to play. First, make the pass rush defend something. Screens, draws, split flow runs, chips in motion force edge rushers to process instead of launch. Benito should not be allowed to spend every passing snap in a sprinter stance with one assignment. Make him chase motion, make him squeeze a run, make him wonder whether the back releasing is bait. A thinking pass rusher is slower than a hunting pass rusher. Make him think. Make him think. Step 2, attack the defenders Denver is protecting. Don't build the plan around beating Surtain or running directly at Miners just to prove toughness. Find the new starter replacing Franklin Myers. Find the safety filling Locke's role. Find the linebacker Denver is asking to cover space. Contenders still have weak links. The challenge is identifying them before the game does it for you. The third key is to force Denver to play from a messy scoreboard. Denver is comfortable when the defense controls the game, and Payton can stay patient. Carolina needs an early explosive play, a 4th down decision, a takeaway, or a special team swing that makes the game feel strange. The Panthers don't need chaos because they're inferior. They need chaos because Denver has spent a year becoming comfortable inside its formula. And then the final key, finish drives with touchdowns, not field goals. A 12-play drive that ends in 3 points feels productive until Waddle creates 6 in 40 seconds. Carolina cannot survive by winning time of possession and losing the end zone. Inside the 20, use Bryce's movement, condensed formations, and the size of the receiving core. Make Denver cover the entire width of the field instead of letting the pass rush shrink the pocket. Now it's time for some bold takes. My real bold take is that Carolina's defense will outperform Denver's defense. Denver is known for being one of the best defenses in the league for years now, where Carolina's defense has been slowly and gradually getting better. Yes, losing Nick Scorin for the year definitely hurts, but I still think overall we have a really good defense. And I truly believe teams around the league are going to start fearing our defense, especially at this point in week 9, where they've seen what we've done in the previous weeks. This will be a really key game to show other teams that our defense is for real. I think JC Horn's going to get an interception or 2 with Pat Surtain having none. And people are going to be like, wait, is JC better than Patrick Surtain? Yeah, this is going to be one of the most revealing games on Carolina's schedule. Denver brings an elite pass rush, a deep secondary, and one of the best offensive lines in football. A young quarterback coming off a 14-win season, and Jalen Waddle on the offense. Carolina gets the game at home, gets extra rest after Thursday Night Football, and gets an opportunity to beat a team that expects to contend for the Super Bowl. And personally, I get to spend an episode talking about a place I love while rooting against its football team with every part of my soul. Colorado, I love you. Denver, I miss you. The mountains are beautiful. The people are great. I may live there again someday. But Sean Payton can still go fuck himself. That's my early breakdown of the Denver Broncos. Now I want to hear from you. Which Denver player worries you the most? Which underrated Bronco did I miss? And what is your bold take from this game? Denver fans, if I missed anything, please let me know. Panther fans, let me know what the score is going to be and if you think we have a chance to win in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you want to hear more Panther news or anything like that, please subscribe. That really helps me out. And at 250 subscribers, I will be doing another giveaway. So 40 subscribers left. Let's get there. Let's hit our goals. And as always, keep pounding.